Hello. Yeah, it's been a while. There's been a few times where I've gone to go do a video and then I just didn't. I really have no excuse. But I've been doing some reevaluating and listening to some self-help podcasts, and there's this one woman, her name is, I wrote it down, Kara Lowenthal. I don't know if that's how you pronounce her name. It's a really long last name though. And she has this podcast called Unfuck Your Brain. And so I started at the beginning before it was called Unfuck Your Brain. And I've been binging it and using all of her tools and reevaluating where I'm currently at in my life and what goals I want to do going forward. And trying to use therapy that I've done before and reposition myself, because I haven't been doing everything I was supposed to be doing, and I haven't been using all of my coping mechanisms, and there's a few that I had forgotten that she glanced on or full out said were great tools in her podcasts. And so I've been redoing a lot of self stuff. It's part of why I'm wearing my glasses. And I just haven't been in a place to be comfortable putting myself out there on the internet, even though nobody's watching. I'm still working on this. I want to be clear. I am totally a work in progress. And I am trying to be better about the negative self-talk. So, even though I am doing this self-help, when you're reflecting like that, you really have to get into I don't know if you really have to, but I've been getting into the nitty-gritty and going over past traumas. And there's been stuff going on with my family, and putting yourself out on a social platform, any social platform, is very exposing. And while I'm not 100% comfortable with it, that's something I wanted to do to get out of my comfort zone. And I haven't been consistent with it, but I also know that each video I make is another baby step, and yeah, I'm sure I could go on about this for a whole thing, and I'm sure at some point I probably will, but right now I'm not in the mood. I just wanted to do sort of a quick glance on November. Yes, I know it's the end of February, but it is what it is. So, in my last video, I talked about the last couple of weeks of October and things that I did with the E&A events, and I haven't really been doing as many events. I didn't actually do any this month, mostly because socializing is hard, and yeah. Also, there haven't been as many things that I've been like, oh, I have to do this. This is a new experience or whatever. And I've been trying to stay away from the food experiences because that's another part that I'm also working on. So I have not been socializing as much in the E&A. And that started a few months ago. And so I think I did 2 things in November. And that's because I left halfway through the month to go home to Rochester to spend Thanksgiving and the first few days of December so that we could put Christmas decorations and stuff with my stepdad David, and I could see my grandmother and my grandma Jean, and my brother's not there. My brother is still over in Germany, but I got to spend a lot of time with my dad, and I got to see my grandma Jean, and I spent the night with her, and then did a couple visits with her, and then I have a couple really close people that I'm really close to, not really close people, that I visited when I was there. But for the most part, I just sort of chilled and relaxed and spent time with the most important people, which there is a very short list. So yeah, I did that for the last half of November. Thanksgiving I did desserts. David did the turkey, as he always does, and then he so he took my grandma Jean's stuffing and then he put his own little spin on it, but then he also sort of followed it almost to a T. It was so funny. And then mashed potatoes, and we did the green beans, and I'm not a huge fan of casseroles, so I like to do just like fresh green beans with the crunchy onions on top. It's nummy nummies. And I know it's not everybody's favorite, but whatever. And I did lots of desserts. I probably won't put pictures in here of them because it seems like a lot of effort for just 2 pictures. But I used a cupcake tin, and I did a traditional dough, and then I did you know, the Pillsbury biscuits. I did those, and then I peeled off like a few layers of each biscuit, so I split like a biscuit into thirds. I think each biscuit was split into thirds, and then I lined the cupcake tin with those, and then I put the filling inside. And I did cherry and pumpkin, and then I did this cherry and pumpkin split. That was my experiment for this year. Other pies I'd already made before, but that was a new one, and it turned out so good. So I just put like a little scoop of the cherries on the bottom, and I just used canned cherry filling, and then put a layer of pumpkin on top. And yeah, so everybody had little individual pies. And then I made a full-size chocolate cream pie, and a full-size banana cream pie, and a full-sized apple tartlet. It's not really an apple pie. I'm not a huge fan of the fillings that come with apple pies. It's usually too squishy. And I know that's not probably really a great descriptor, but it's like a lot of the gelatin filling, and then the apples are usually pretty mushy. And I don't like that. And it's usually a lot of cinnamon, and I don't like that either. I like cinnamon, but not when it's like all you can taste. I feel like, well, if you wanted to have that much cinnamon, why aren't you just doing the cinnamon challenge and getting it over with and not? So I use traditional crust, and then I do half of sweet apples. I had a timer going and it interrupted my video. I'm a little mad, but that's okay. I'm gonna just want to splice them together, so that's why it paused weird. So half sweet apples, half the green, which are the tartar apples, and I feel like that's a good contrast. And then with just a traditional crust, and then I leave it half open on top. So like I usually put a part of the crust over on the edges, but then I leave the middle part open. So I don't feel like that is really an apple pie, because usually it's like we're cover the whole thing. It's more like a tartlet. Tartlet? There's probably a word for what I actually make, but I don't know what it is because most of my baking is not from professional or watching people. It's just experiments on top of experiments. And yeah, so that was the last half of November. Fun trip. In the first couple days of December, and prior to that I was just doing the same work with the same clients I talked about in the last video, and there was really nothing special. It was just work and maybe a little extra work because my clients knew I was going to be gone for 2 weeks, but nothing like, sorry, I just got a text. But yeah, nothing crazy, nothing worth of note. And it's been so long that I don't remember what events I went to, and I could look them up, but anyway, if I remember them at some other point, I'm sure I will mention them as something that I did. So that brings us into, I got back to Arizona on December 5th, and then I did a little bit more work for the next 2 weeks, just my usual clients that I've been working with, and then everybody was breaking for the holidays, and nobody was really doing any big parties or anything for Christmas or New Year's, so I basically took a whole nother vacation. And Wendy, my stepmom, she loves Christmas, and while the way it is not how I would decorate, because I feel like Christmas sort of threw up all over the house, I can understand her enthusiasm, and they are well-loved decorations. So she decorates the whole house, and then the tree is just this same tree that they've used for years, and tons of ornaments. I mean, I've seen trees like that before, and obviously I've participated in Christmases with this particular tree that has already had chock full of ornaments, but more have been added since over the years, as me and the other kids have grown up. And yeah, it's a lot, and it looks really nice, don't get me wrong, it does. It looks really cool, but it's also not my taste. So I didn't do anything for Christmas. Last year for Christmas, I put a couple decorations of mine in my room. This year I didn't even bother. I was just not feeling it. And it was a really good Christmas though. Wendy was adopted, so she has sort of a mixed family because she has obviously the parents who raised her, and then she has the parents who birthed her, and so she's known them for years, or most of them she's known for years. And her biological brother from her biological mother is from Oregon, and I have never met him because I've never gone on one of the trips that they've done in Oregon. It's always just been a really bad time when they go and visit, or I mean, I didn't always live here, so they would visit like random times during the year, and I wasn't here, or whatever. Either ways, it wasn't always an option, so I've actually never met him. And his name is Ben, and oh my gosh, I keep forgetting her name, and she was so nice, and we got along so well. But he has a girlfriend, fiance. I was confused about that, but they've been together for a while. And anyway, so he came to visit, so this is the first time I got to meet him. And so and that was right after Christmas. He came for like 4 days right after Christmas, and but before New Year's, obviously. And so, yeah, he was really nice, and I was really excited to meet him, and we had some really good conversations, and it was an awesome experience, and I cannot wait until I can go visit, because they've talked so much about the farm, obviously, over the years, but then he's told me about the farm now, and he actually lives there, so he knows even more stuff than they do from just their visits. And I really liked his girlfriend too, whose name I cannot remember. Sorry, I just know that my lips are really chapped. It's bothering me now because I'm looking at him. So yeah. It was a good visit. Had a lot of fun. Got some awesome presents, which I cannot for the life of me recall at this moment in time. But that's okay. I'll probably talk about them at some point, and then I'll tell you I got to my Christmas. Oh, something I've been doing. My nails. My nails are really thin, and so they break really easily unless I have polish on them. But it can get super expensive to go and get them professionally done. So, and obviously I can do one hand really good, as all of us can, and then the other hand not so much, because you have to switch and use your non-dominant hand. So I've been sort of practicing, and they look really bad right now because I haven't done them in a few days. But every day I pick the one that looks the worst. Like, this one looks really bad, but it's actually not my worst one. So every day I pick the one that looks the worst, and I use nail polish remover and I clean it all off, and then I cut or file it down to where it's more manageable and less likely to break, and then, but still pretty. And then I paint it with whatever color I'm feeling that day. And I do have a limited color wheel to be choosing from because I have half of my stuff packed away still, but that is okay, and I haven't had any real problems with it. So yeah, different days I felt like different things. So like this one, come on, focus. Ha. Okay, so this one I did a gold polish, and then I don't know if you can see them, it's still sort of blurry. It's better, but you can't see as much detail. So it's got the little black speckles on top of the gold polish, but there's also these like orangey speckles. It's a Halloween polish, I'm sure, but yeah. And then I did a clear coat on top of that. It's just something funky. And like this one was like an orangey sparkle one. That was fun. This one's almost up, but it's like neon pink. This one, so in the thing, it looks like a shimmery dark blue, but on my nail it just looks black. So I'm not sure how I feel about that. And then this one is just a plain like tealy, pretty oceany blue. And I like it even better as a matte, which is why I didn't put a clear coat on it. And it's looking a little ragged too. And that's just the one hand because my other hand looks worse. But yeah, so I've been doing that. And I've been trying to do it every day, but I haven't been able to always keep up with that. But usually when I skip a couple days, like I have the last few days, like today, when I'm done with everything I have to do today, I'll have a few hours and I'll probably throw on Criminal Minds and do my nails, all the ones that are messed up. I'll just pick different colors. Probably guesstimate how I was feeling on what my overall impression of previous couple days I've been, and then pick a color based on that and try to pick different ones. But sometimes I feel the same multiple days in a row. So then I did, and I have had a couple nails that are all the same color, and then but because I picked the one that looks the worst, they're not usually like in a row. It's like this nail and then my pinky on the other hand are the same color, because 2 days in a row I felt sort of the same, but those are the two worst nails. So And it's been fun. And it makes me a little bit happy every time I look at them because they're pretty. And it has been helping my nails stop breaking, which is nice because I get super annoyed because usually when they break right down to the freaking nub, which is annoying as hell. And it usually hurts because then I have to file it so it doesn't catch on stuff. And filing right up against your actual skin hurts. So that was November, as quick as I possibly could, and December, as quick as I possibly could. And I have to go now. Probably should have left 5 minutes ago, but I really wanted to get this video at least into my phone, and I'll probably upload it later. So, goodbye.